Got a fun one today, and I'm going to be sharing with you two Atari Jaguar prototypes that I recently picked up at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I try this on actual hardware and show you to see if there's any differences. This has been a lot of fun to put this video together, and I have a message for collectors as well that I'm going to share in this video. And I am a huge Atari Jaguar fan, and recently what I've been doing is trying to find prototypes and dump them. And so in today's video I'm sharing with you two Atari Jaguar prototypes that I do believe are different than the final build. One is significant, the other one, I'll talk about that. So sit back, relax, here we go. Here's a commercial release of Kasumi Ninja. Some versions of the game came with a headband, mine did. Here is my original receipt. Purchased it in '98. And this is often compared to kind of a Mortal Kombat fighting style game. It wasn't well received from the public. I know there's some Jaguar fans that like this game. It was supposed to have a lot more content. There's 8 fighters included in this. The control was often criticized as being a little slow and clunky. There is finishing moves. It does have a code that parents can input to turn off the blood. I thought that was kind of interesting. But yes, here is just kind of the attract mode of the game. There's different modes in the game. Overall, I think it's okay. It's not a game that I'm going to go back and play a ton. But I wanted to show what the commercial release looked like, especially the intro, the options menu. And, it might be something you may want to check out, especially if you have like a game drive. And it's got an interesting character selection menu. And here it is. It's like on a rotating wheel. And you choose your fighter that you want to play as and choose your opponent. And, I never really did like this menu setup. I'm sure there was an internal discussion of, how they wanted to do it, as many development teams have. It's a discussion, it's a process. They play test something, they get feedback. I don't know why they went with this, but they had a reason, I'm sure. And here we go. So now I'm going to show you the prototype. And this is a picture of the actual prototype I purchased from Songbird Productions. And as you can see, it's an early build. This game came out, I do believe, in December of '94. So there was some significant changes before the release. Here's the title screen, or lack of one. You can turn the text off. Version 0.29. Love that. I love that they have that with a date on it. That's awesome. I was really excited seeing that. And here is how you navigate characters in this early build. So there's actually like a first-person, room where you're walking around and you choose a character. They just had the text of the characters. I'm sure that all the characters are not in this prototype. I do believe there's 5 or 6, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, there was a lot of content cut, and I'm sure there was a lot of changes made along the way, and this is one of them. That this is just a different way of navigating to a character, and you just press the B button and you enter the door, and then you choose your opponent. This is your opponent that you choose in this room. So yeah, really, really interesting and different. I love seeing these differences with prototypes versus the final. And a lot of people don't get to play these prototypes, and so it's my purpose for this when I can. I have prototypes. I do try to post several of the older Atari ones on Atari Age. But here's the combat. There's no music in it. I was able to get off, special moves, but not finishing moves. I didn't try that. But yeah, it's different. And, my goal is to share what I can with others. Really that's my focus of just collecting in general. And, I take a lot of some of my older Atari prototypes. I have posted them on Atari Age in the prototype section when I can. And here's another character. Wanted to show, the gameplay definitely doesn't look optimized. And there isn't any music. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. I'm playing this on actual Atari Jaguar hardware using a RetroTink 5X and the Retrovision Super Nintendo HD cables. So that's how I'm capturing footage, if you're wondering about that. And yeah, it's interesting going back and seeing these prototypes and seeing the process of how they changed. And I'm sure this was just a long time in development. And you know, sometimes a company is working with an overseeing agency, and you know, take this out, include this, change this. You know, there's product testing. There's probably different opinions on the development team. I would love to hear from anybody that worked on Atari Jaguar games, their stories, or even just programmers in general, because I find that process is interesting and historically important. But yeah, this is the prototype, and you know, it has several differences. All right, now we're going to jump on into iWar, and this was a kind of a cool game for Atari Jaguar. This is a commercial release, and I've had this in my collection a long time as well. And I do believe my copy is complete. My box is a little bit beat up. And here is the game. This is a commercial release. And I just wanted to show this. This one was a little bit more difficult to see if there's any changes. And there is kind of an attract mode. And I do believe all the Jaguar games. But anyways, this is the attract mode. You know, what would be played in a kiosk, you know, if people wanted to check out iWar. And it's a fun little, you know, kind of a tank game. Go around blowing up stuff, getting power-ups. I do believe it's a Jag Link game. Correct me if I'm wrong. And, yeah. And so, you know, this game, I think this game has its fans. I definitely am a fan of this game way over, like, Kasumi Ninja. It was a later release. And this is commercial release. My prototype was a late build as well, and I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, so this is the commercial release. Here's the prototype, and as you can see, this was worked on supposedly all the way up to its release. I do believe December of '95. So this is a late build, and sometimes with late builds, it's like gameplay tweaks. It's harder to tell what's different. What I initially played, which, you know, there's 20 levels in this game, so I'm just showing the attract mode. I played a couple levels. I didn't see any major differences. I do believe that there are differences in this, and I'm gonna release, you know, the build that I have on Atari Age. And the other thing too is, unfortunately, I couldn't play this on a game drive. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something causing it to not run on that. But I am just gonna release the ROM on Atari Age, and for you to check out and to see if you can play this anyway in an emulator or other skunk board or whatever, however you want to play this. So this is the prototype. The one thing I did notice was different, and I don't know if it is a difference, is the high score. So this is the default high score that I saw on this, which I do believe was different than my commercial release of iWar. So there is that, but I don't know if that's like a big difference. Anyways, just thought I'd share that, and that if you want to play Kasumi Ninja, you can play it on the game drive. Unfortunately, iWar was not working. I was a little sad about that, but at least one of them is easy to play on a commercially released product that people like to check out. So those are the two prototypes, and if you want to check at least one of them out, if you have an Atari Jaguar game drive, you can go to Atari Age and go in the prototype section where I've posted these, and you can at least check out the Kasumi Ninja early build. And so it's very different, and so it's kind of cool to see this process of how games are being made. And you know, there's other ways too of checking if a prototype's different, and you can use a file comparison program. WinMerge comes to mind. I don't know if it would work with this, but you may want to try that out. But my message to collectors is, please back up your files, your prototypes. Please dump your prototypes. Don't just hoard them. Share them with others if you can. And I understand there's a financial impact sometimes, as sometimes prototypes cost lots of money. But I'm telling you right now, you know, I'm pursuing these and trying to share them with others, because that's what I think is important, is preserving that history and definitely getting it into more hands of collectors and people that want to appreciate it is what I want to do, especially with prototypes. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.